And for more, let's go to our correspondent, Batya Leventhal, who is at the Western Wall Shrine in Jerusalem's Old City. And Batya, it's looked like it cleared out there at the Western Wall. Presumably people who have been fasting throughout the day are now rushing to break that fast, which is why it's somewhat empty. But the real story during the course of this day was behind the Western Wall on the Temple Mount. Of course, the question of whether this new government is going to continue to allow increased Jewish worship on that site, which of course could create more tensions with the Palestinians.
Well, Kalev, just before I get to the question on the Temple Mount behind me, I just want to show you, you mentioned people rushing out to break the fast, but you can see there are some families that have grabbed chairs and are sitting around here breaking their fast at the Western Wall compound over here. This was covered with thousands of Jewish worshippers about an hour ago, just before the end of the fast. And as you mentioned, thousands of worshippers, about over 1,600, ascended onto the Temple Mount compound just behind me earlier today, which sparked clashes with Palestinians and the police on top of that Temple Mount. And the reason being is because the Palestinians were relatively upset, not just by the fact that the Jews had come to visit the compound, but by the fact that they were praying as well. Now, under the current status quo, Jews are allowed to go and visit the Temple Mount, but are forbidden from praying. Now, this also dates back until 1967, when they did sign an order to allow Jordanian administration of the entire compound, but they do that in coordination, as Ariel mentioned, with the Israeli police. And a lot of Jewish leaders were concerned about allowing any Jews to go up there for concern of stepping on what they call the ground of the Holy of Holies, not knowing exactly where the destruction of the first and second temple was. And so it's only been recently that Jews have been allowed to go up there. But it does seem like it's a break in the status quo, in particular with what Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett said earlier today, allowing the freedom of worship for both Jews and Muslims on the Temple Mount. That seems to be a break from the 1967 status quo, because of the fact that Jews are going up there and seemingly praying, which normally they do down here at the Western Wall compound.
All right, and of course that site has been really the spur of some explosive conflicts in recent years between Israel and the Palestinians, and tensions also between Israel and even the greater Arab Muslim world. Batya Leventhal, thank you for that report.